The stage is set, the lights dim, and the leading lady is dead. Come help solve the mystery as the Poplar Pike Playhouse presents the Memphis area premiere of Curtains, April 30th through May 16th. This Tony Award-winning whodunit musical dances on to the Playhouse stage for one of the first authorized productions in the nation. It's a Broadway hit that's sure to knock you dead. Call 755-7775 or log on to ppp.org for tickets today.
Centuries ago, the gray wolf flourished here. But by the 20th century, bounty hunters and trappers effectively eliminated them from all but 2 states. Their numbers dwindled so low, their very existence was in doubt. Although they have made gains in recent years, wolves face a new struggle for survival, for there are still those working to eliminate them. Save something wild. Visit SaveWolves.org.
You're watching the award-winning GHS-TV, Germantown Community Television, your hometown news and information station.
Welcome back. I'm Vince Perryman, and you're watching Legalese. Joining us on our show is CPA Gus Wilson. We're discussing tax preparation. Gus, before we took a break, we were discussing how to find a preparer. Now, you said earlier, basically ask around to people that you trust and get some references on that. Well, once I've got 2 or 3 names of preparers, what sort of questions should I ask when I sit down with that preparer?
Right. What you said, meeting these guys is probably the most important thing to do. I say guys, obviously we're equal opportunity here, but you definitely want to meet with your taxpayer and discuss a few things with them. A few things to really talk about are experience. You want to make sure that they're able to prepare the return in a manner which it needs to be prepared and that they've got the adequate experience to do the preparation. Another good thing is fees. While they probably can't give you a fixed fee, they can at least give you a floor and hopefully a ceiling. And that gives you kind of an idea of a range without really going into depth of your return and looking at all the complexities involved. It's really hard to peg a fixed number, but at least you can get a range, you can get an idea of what they charge. You also want to make sure that they have the ability to prepare your return, and especially in a timely manner. You need to communicate your needs to them up front, whether or not you're comfortable with them extending your return until October, or if you need it done by April 15th, or even if you have any additional time restrictions, if you want it done by the end of March. Make sure that those needs are communicated to them on the front end so they know exactly what they're doing. The other thing that you can do is do background checks. If you're going to a CPA, they're licensed by the state, so you can go check out your Tennessee CPA website and make sure that they haven't gotten in any trouble or they hadn't had their license revoked. The same with enrolled agents. Enrolled agents are administered, the award, I guess, the credentials are issued by the IRS, and so you can check on the IRS website to make sure that their credentials are up to snuff.
Okay, and then, you were talking about looking at their experience. Now, what are some specific things we want to look at as far as experience? Because, you may come in and have a very complex return and the guy's been practicing for 25 years, but how do you tell whether or not they know a complex return from a simple return? Bring your returns in when you meet them. If you can go back 2 years, that would be ideal. At least bring your prior year return with you. What you'll expect to find is that their experience matches your needs. So if you are a heavy investor with lots of stock trades, you would expect them to be proficient in understanding what derivatives, short sales, options, puts, and calls are. The same thing would go for real estate. You would expect them to be familiar with like-kind exchanges, anything that would relate to real estate transfers, property transfers, anything like that. And so just make sure that they have experience in the field that you practice in or experience in the field that you're involved in business-wise. Okay, and I guess with that too is sometimes you've got some weird things out there that can crop up one year but not the next. I mean, is it a watch out if, you're talking to whoever you're considering as your preparer and they don't ever really admit that they, IRAs are a good example of this, especially inherited IRAs. On that, if they're not willing to talk to your other advisors or bring them in on the preparation and ask those questions, I mean, is that a watch-out sign there?
Probably so. If you do have other advisors, chances are that you would need the services of a CPA instead of a franchised agent or an enrolled agent. Really, the lack of willingness of a CPA to meet and discuss return preparation with your brokers, with your financiers, with your bankers, et cetera, would definitely be a red flag. These guys there should be open exchange of information. There might have to be an intermediary, you, to allow access to that information, but there should definitely be willingness and openness to meet with these people and discuss with them.
I know something that I've personally dealt with is you'll have someone that is taking care of the financial planning aspect, and I've run into an occasion where they have taken the client's information and handed it over to a tax preparer who never meets or speaks to the client. I mean, is that something that you should be concerned about, or is that maybe a common practice?
I wouldn't say it's a common practice, and I would say the need would meet the needs of the individual. If the individual is kind of hands-off, he just wants it done, and he's approved you to go out and secure the tax return preparation, I would think that that would be okay. But it seems kind of weird not to meet your client face-to-face, meet with them, have them fill out an organizer, make sure that you understand their tax needs, both for the current year, the prior years, and the future years, just to make sure that you're not missing anything as a preparer.
And as far as once we've found the accountant that we're comfortable with or the preparer that we're comfortable with, what all do we need to bring to them to prepare the return?
You heard me mention the organizer. Some CPAs will have you prepare an organizer, which is essentially a questionnaire which kind of has you go through your tax year. You know, it asks, you know, your age, your date of birth, your dependents, your income, other sources of income, so on and so forth. That thing is handy, and if the CPA goes through the trouble of handing it to you, it's probably in your best interest to give it back to them complete to the best of your ability. Remember that the more the CPA knows about you and your income, the better off they can assist you with your credits, your refunds, your income, and making sure that your return is complete and accurate. As far as the forms you want to bring, there's numerous forms that you get from outside sources that the IRS is also getting a copy of. So anything that you get that would be official documentation, you need to bring to your CPA. We'll go through a list of them real shortly, and I'll kind of describe them to you. First and foremost, it's the W-2. The W-2 is received by your employer, and it is a record of every paycheck that you got, essentially. It's your gross income, all your federal income tax withholding, all your FICA and Medicare, as well as some additional items. It lists out if you contribute to your 401k, if you are in 125 or some kind of fringe benefit plan, anything that gets a little wild and more radical, like the life insurance plans, the stock option plans, stock grants, so on and so forth. One thing that your W-2 does not have on it is if you contribute to United Way or another charity through your payroll deductions, it will not have that on the W-2. So if you do contribute like that, please bring in records to that effect. Otherwise, your CPA will miss them if he's not looking for them.
Okay, we've got to take a break, but we'll come back to where we are here. We'll talk more with Gus Wilson about tax preparation when we return.